Hello, Lifescapers. This is Danesha.
Hi everyone, this is Stacey.
And we are therapists with Lifescape Counseling Services. Thank you for watching our YouTube channel. Today, we are discussing the stigma of mental health. This has been a great mental health awareness month, right?
It has. I've learned a lot.
Yes, a lot of educating, a lot of growing, and we wanted to expand that growth. We're looking at the stigmas and some of those barriers that keeps us from moving in a direction of working towards bettering our mental health and our own individual journeys of healing.
Yes, I think it's important to identify what the stigmas are and what stigma actually means so that you can understand if you have any of your own and how to overcome them.
True. So what is a stigma, Stacey?
Give me a second and I'll tell you. I need to check the Google. Stigma is defined as when somebody sees you in a negative way because of a particular characteristic or attribute, such as in mental health.
Yes.
Thank you, Google.
Thank you, Google and Siri. So when you have those stigmas, let's just go over some of like the top ones because I don't even think we recognize what some of those stigmas are in mental health.
I would agree with you.
So we have our cultural barriers, diagnoses, and we have just the idea of therapy and the benefits of talking to a provider.
That's a scary word.
Yeah. So let's go from the standpoint of cultural barriers. So that relates to those family messages, the idea of therapy is for one group of race, even a group of gender or sex.
Even a religious background that tells you that, therapy is kind of not a priority or won't help you.
Yes. So when you think about that, what are ways that we can begin to ask ourselves or even help others with going through those culture barriers? Because when you think about it, that message comes from the people that we're close to, the people that are around us, and the innate messages that we have grown with over time. So what would you tell a person that may be struggling with a culture barrier to overcome that?
I think I would step out with or talk to them about what kinds of things do they feel would help them. Like what's preventing them from seeking treatment other than this idea of they shouldn't, and what's drawing them into therapy. What kinds of things do they want to accomplish and how can we go about doing that? What's one way that you would help your clients if they came to you and said, my family really is against therapy, they don't really feel like there's a benefit to it?
I think one of the key things that you just said was addressing the should and the should nots. Those cognitive distortions of what I feel I'm obligated to do or what I feel I should stay away from because of what someone else wants me to do.
Right.
When you're thinking about what helps me, it's coming from what do I need to do to grow for myself versus what I feel I should or should not be doing based on my race or my culture or whatever that means. So I would basically just tell them to look inward. Look inward to the need of if you are needing that support, if you are just needing someone to talk to, then it's taking that message of what I should or should not, the expectation, and holding myself to a standard that I am in a space where I realize I need a little bit of support.
Right.
I realize my thoughts have been a little bit off. So this is for me and not for my family members, my race, my culture, specifically for my mental health needs.
I think another important part of that too is to not feel that you're disrespecting them in any way by seeking help for yourself and support from outside of your inner circle. It's always good to have support outside of that circle.
Yeah.
And from whether it be friends, family, professionals, like to have a bigger support network is huge for someone.
That goes into the idea of diagnosis. So when you think of having that support, of realizing that two can exist. Like I can still love my family, my religion, my culture, but also have an innate love for myself to grow and heal. So sometimes those messages come from if I'm too afraid to learn what that imbalance within me looks like.
Right.
And then if I do reach out for support and there is a diagnosis, kind of shying away from, oh, there's a label attached to me now.
Right. That label tends to scare people from the idea of seeking help. And it doesn't have to be that way. You know, the idea of therapy being all about a label and, oh, I have this illness, so I need to get help for it, there's other ways of looking at it.
Looking at it from, reframing from this is an illness versus my diagnosis is just giving me a map of how my brain works. So just how you use Siri or Google to get to a different location, literally the same way your brain works. We're all different, we're all human, and so our brain looks differently. So having a diagnosis is basically just saying that here are some areas that you may have some things that we can focus on a little bit more, and this is just the brain work and the map of how we can get you to that place.
It would just be, as you know, the same as having a common cold or something like that, where you would seek treatment for that. Same thing. You would seek treatment for this. It's just a different type of help and support.
Yes. So the last barrier are the benefits of therapy.
Oh, I definitely think there's a lot of benefits to therapy, and I think a lot of people aren't aware of all of the benefits. So it's important to kind of understand what therapy can do for you and how it can benefit you.
When you just mentioned, when we were speaking of diagnosis, I think sometimes that stigma related to just therapy alone is if I do go to therapy, it's because I am ill or it's because I have a diagnosis. So therapy can also be used as a preventative measure of not waiting until we get to the risk or a crisis situation. It's one, just having someone to talk to. Like we may not be able to talk to our family all the time or the people that are closest to us about certain things, especially if we're having trouble with them.
Exactly.
So having just an ally of support, having a space where I can go.
Judgmental free. Where you can bounce ideas off of someone and get their input without feeling like, oh my gosh, if I say this out loud, they're going to judge me. You know, that's not what it is. You know, you get to talk to somebody where there's no judgment in the room.
And the beautiful thing about that is you also get to choose what works for you. So if I go to therapy and I feel that this is a dynamic that is not helpful, I have the ability to say, okay, what is it that I am needing from my therapeutic dynamic? It's like dating. You get to see what works for you, and if it doesn't, talking to your therapist and letting them know, and going through those options, even if you are needing some extra support outside of just talk therapy.
I think it's important to know that you get to lead the way with therapy. It's not the therapist who, you know, talks to you or talks at you. It's the other way around. You know, the therapist is there to add support and to help and to, you know, let you know where they can benefit you and how they can benefit you.
So with the stigmas that we've shared today, through those cultural barriers, diagnoses, and just the benefits of therapy, we encourage you guys to take some time out for yourself and ask yourself if one of the things that I have been thinking about is reaching out for support, getting into that therapy journey for healing, what's holding me back? What is causing me to feel that I am not taking that step for myself?
And if that wasn't there, would I be getting help? Would I be getting that extra support? You know, again, don't feel like you're, you know, being disrespectful to anybody just because your religion or your culture, your ethnicity says something different. Those mixed messages. It's still, you still have to take care of yourself, and sometimes we need extra support.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
No, not at all. And we encourage you to reach out for that support if you need it or if you want it. Sometimes it's nice just to talk to somebody different.
So we encourage you guys to think about that. Make intentional time of asking yourselves those important questions. And when you come up with those answers, we encourage you to begin to work towards that solution for your healing. Even if that means setting boundaries with those messages or those people that are wanting to continue to delay that process of your healing. Take time for yourself. That's all therapy is. It's a time out of your week, out of your day, to specifically honor yourself and work on your personal journey.
For self-reflection.
Yes. So again, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe to our channel. We will be bringing you more content, and we hope you guys have a great week.
Have a great week, everyone. Thank you for watching.
Bye.
Bye.